And I think that most successful salespeople, surprisingly, would probably be introverts. We go home at night and curl up in a ball and don't want to talk to people for a little bit sometimes, or at least I do. Thank you for listening to the Interesting People You Meet podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Newground Financial. Newground Financial is a full-service investment and insurance brokerage firm that specializes in employee benefit plans, corporate insurance, and retirement planning. Newground Financial serves the provinces of Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, PEI, Ontario, and Alberta. Find out more at newgroundfinancial.com. Thank you for liking, sharing, and commenting on the Interesting People You Meet podcast across all of your favorite listening platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. By doing so, you are ensuring that more great people just like you have the opportunity to hear from our guests. Thank you, and enjoy the show. Hey, welcome to episode 31 of the Interesting People You Meet. This is one of our brief Thursday sessions. Today we're talking about mastering the art of sales or sales success. We're just going to riff on having fun in the sales industry, which is, we're in the advisory consulting / we do sell stuff for a living. Not scared to admit that. And we really enjoy that because what we know for a fact is in our world, what we sell is really good for the people who choose to work with us. Generally, it helps them quite a bit. That's the approach we take every time we make a phone call or reach out to a client, or is to say, not what can I sell you? It's how can I help you? That's a really good starting point, by the way, if you're in sales in any profession. It's not going into like, how can I sell you this car or this pen or whatever? It's like, do you actually need a pen? Or is the bus better for you? And that's kind of what, the things that, really go through my mind as I'm having these conversations. So hopefully we'll, jump through 15 or 20 minutes of riffing on sales stuff and give you some good content here. Nathan, what goes through your mind when you think of mastering the art of sales?
Well, I think sales is fun.
Yeah.
It's so unique. There's really not any sort of career like it. I've been doing it for almost 10 years now. I mean, I'm 25. I'm obviously still pretty young, feeling like I'm getting up there though now. Uh,
Yeah,
but
that's right.
but yeah, I mean, I've been doing this since I was 16. Starting at Future Shop back in the day, back when Future Shop was still a thing. Obviously, no longer a thing anymore. But I think that really caught my eye into you can make a career out of this. I was still in high school, but I love talking to people. Back then, especially, tech was just exploding at this time. So I was super enjoying working in the computer field, being able to talk computers with people because it was something that I really liked at the same time. And I think that to be successful in sales, you really gotta like what you're selling. Obviously, now it's a little bit of a different world with group benefits, which I'm focusing on. I think that it's awesome. I think that businesses need them, and it's something that's kind of hitting home because I've used them plenty of times, and it's been huge for me too. So I think that from my perspective, yeah, sales, gotta love it. You gotta have it too in order to sell it.
Yeah. And you got to have, you know, you got to have people selling, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. You can buy things online and you can do, I mean, all the tech. There's like we did our previous podcast talking about tech implementations and things like that and using it in a business. Well, anytime I look up a tech piece, I'm able to find out info and read a white paper on it. But eventually, I'm talking to someone on the phone for 10 or 15 minutes. They're determining if I'm a fit, if their product's a fit for what we're doing, and we're, understanding next steps. So,
Mhm.
sales is I don't think it's a lost art. I think it's an art that, needs to be embraced. Uh, I took a course years ago, and one of the lines that I think about all the time is, we're not salespeople, we're business professionals in sales. We're a true someone who really takes the time to understand their product in great detail, to understand, buyer psychology, behavioral economics, all the things that help us better understand where our clients at and what their mindset is before we ever pick up the phone and speak to them, allows us to help find solutions that work for them or not. And I think that's the important thing about sales is, the stigma around there, you're trying to sell me something that I don't need, exists because, well, unfortunately, people kind of created that, bad salespeople. But, those that are out there with, the best interests of their client and understanding that they have a valuable product for a certain target market, and that's who they're going to reach out to. And their job is to help that target market understand this can solve a problem for me. And then it becomes a lot easier. Like, it can be daunting in the early days when you're like, oh, I don't want to pick up the phone, or I don't want to tell someone what I do, or put information out online about how I help people. And once you get over like the head trash of like, you're just like, I add value. I've added value to a ton of people, to a ton of businesses who keep better employees, who we help with financial, with retirement planning. And then all of a sudden, now they're retired and they're enjoying it, or they have a clear picture to understand how long it's going to take. And, or, you write insurance in our world, a life insurance policy on a family, and, unfortunately 5 years later, one of the husband or wife, they pass away, and the other benefits from that financially. It doesn't bring anyone back, but it makes their life a lot smoother and a lot less chaotic and stressful in the event that happens. Once that happens in any industry, I think, once you sell a car to someone and they love it and it changes, their whole mood and lifestyle, and they meet new friends, and they come back and they send other friends to you because you're the guy that sold them that and you didn't BS them. Like, you can't take
Yeah,
that feeling away. It's pretty amazing. That's why I love the profession of helping others. And the proof is in the pudding. You only earn what, to what you've created. That's amazing. I remember a mentor early days was saying like, hey, oh, you're struggling and you don't like it? Great. Quit and go get a job. Like, put a ceiling on your income. Have someone tell you what you're worth. There's only the crazy people like you and I, Nathan, and others out there who understand this. And not everyone is meant to do what we do for a living, not in our industry because it's extremely difficult, or not in sales in general. But once you get that bug and you kind of see that, or you're just perhaps we're born this way, man, it's awesome. It's really cool to be able to help people every single day in a way that produces results that you really can't get in many other careers as well.
Yeah, and obviously sales is sales, but I think that the products and the services that we do sell in this industry are particularly rewarding. I mean, selling a computer, phone, or a car, like, I mean, that's great. It feels really awesome. Do they really need that stuff? Maybe. It's a little bit different than, something that could actually change lives. A huge chunk of money in the, God forbid, accident or something like that could possibly happen. It can really, yeah, we sell some pretty cool products. That's what I'm getting at here.
I
If
agree. Like, a prime example, yesterday I'm meeting with a couple. I just started helping them with retirement planning. And it was like, it was bizarre in a totally awesome way. And if you're watching this, thank you, because this was super cool. I was speaking with them about planning and whatnot, and they're saving a bunch. They're doing amazing. They're like almost debt free at a very young age, and like on the way to having a great retirement. But yet they hadn't had a written plan. Right? It was just kind of, I know I need to be debt free and save a bunch, and they were doing exactly what the other person had taught them to do, which was great. And I was like, okay, let's do like a written retirement plan. Let's see that. And the wife was like she clapped. She was super excited. She like can't wait till our next meeting to see that what they're doing is putting them on track. You can't take that away. That's amazing. You're giving people peace of mind and knowing what they're doing is working and that they're on track to reaching their dreams and goals. You almost become like an integrated life and wealth coach, and rather than the sales guy selling insurance. Like, ugh,
No, that's
you
pretty
know,
cool.
yeah,
It's
super
interesting. It's
cool.
cool that they see that as something exciting because I know a lot of people are afraid to see that stuff.
You got it. And for all
Money.
those who are, there's hope. You can be those people, and that you just the way you do that is, for those who spend too much, spend more than you earn or whatnot. Not to get off track too much, but it's, you know if you can find someone to help you, embrace that, and let them help you. And if depending on what level of debt you're in or not, no non-existent savings, there's always another day when you can start fresh and create new habits and get out of that with the proper
Hmm.
coaching. So yeah.
So, in your opinion, what do you think makes a good salesperson or a great salesperson? Because I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say I'm perfect by any means, and some days I think that I'm not very good at all. So I'm just curious from your perspective. I mean, you've been in the industry for a while, but I'm sure you've seen plenty of different salespeople. I have an idea in my head, and I guess some of the best salespeople that I've ever seen, you can tell they genuinely care, not only about the product but about the client too. I've seen this even back 10 years ago. Was one of the things I noticed. One of the guys that I used to work with at Future Shop, just an excellent salesperson, very personable, just always seem to get along. And those are the type of people that get referrals. But yeah, I'll let you go, Nick. What do you think?
I can say what it's not, in my opinion, is that extroverted backslapper life of the party person. I mean, I'm sure those people do exist. I'm a like, yeah, I'm definitely an introvert.
Yeah,
But
same.
yeah, and I think that most successful salespeople, surprisingly, would probably be introverts. We go home at night and curl up in a ball and don't want to talk to people for a little bit sometimes, or at least I do. But throughout the day, we're so passionate about helping people. So I think what makes a good salesperson is, one, integrity. That word's thrown around a lot, but you're always doing things for the betterment of others. And it's like a drive and a tenacity that you need, because you'll get beat up in this industry. You can't take things personal, especially if you're doing cold calls, which we've built our businesses on. Me multiple times, and you right now, and um, yeah, it's integrity and drive and the willingness to create the habit to do what you need to do to become successful and not stop when you feel shitty.
Mhm.
Understanding that, it's not how you feel that determines how you act. It's how you act that determines how you feel. So the more we act and do what we know we need to do, the more successful we're going to be. And then just being patient after that, knowing that it's going to work out. Being surrounded, having a good team is helpful as well, to understand that, you're not the only person going through the ups and downs. So yeah,
I think
integrity, drive, patience.
I think you're right too. Like, I feel like there's a misconception of what a salesperson is because you see it all in these and any sort of media, Hollywood. It's all this. It seems to be a loud, very extroverted type personality. And I've even heard it like in other businesses that I've worked in. I've heard managers say the good salespeople are the ones that are loud, and you can hear them. You can hear them talk in the showroom, or you can just hear them talk, and it's just like I don't know. I thought that was very, very strange because I don't know. Maybe we're just conditioned to think that way because of social media and all those top
Yeah, the
salespeople.
Wolf of Wall Street or whatever.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think that, part of the reason, just sort of in my own opinion, why introverts, pardon me, my everything's dying here. Why introverts excel is because, perhaps an introvert trait is that we're more curious to understand where people are at than to tell them where we think they should be. So we're more patient. We are more curious and asking questions, rather than just going into a situation saying, "Oh, you fit XYZ category, so therefore you need this." Right? It's like, maybe not, So being someone who's very curious, um, yeah, is incredible. I think that's quite helpful. Understanding where people are at, and sometimes it's backfired on me too, because I've become curious, and Some people feel perhaps, you have to do it with grace. And
Closing. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, what do you like? What do you like an investigator here? Why are you asking me so many questions? But uh, that's how we find the right solution. And you can easily, tip for a salesperson in the introductory of a meeting. Just say, hey, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions today so I can understand how things are going better, and make sure we're not going to waste our time. Is that cool? Sure. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Now you're not taking them off guard, but because if someone didn't do that to me, I would be like, again, as an introvert, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Why are you asking me all these questions? But
Yeah.
if they're going to tell me why and be straightforward, then I think that's huge. So again, being a great question asker, and not studying your product to the point where you're like, you need to find out why it was created 100 million years ago or whatever, but like knowing your products very well, though, I think is important, because then that helps you establish the proper questions to ask around them. So understanding what you've got in your toolbox, not so much that you're scared to pick up the phone and make a call until you understand all of that, but there's sort of this this meshing of both of them, that you need to know what you're selling, and then wrap very good questions around them, to help clients better understand where they're at, because you're entering into a conversation in their head that they've got up at 3 a.m, like I did today, and I've been up since then because one of my kids are sad, and whatever, and now I'm tired, and now it's 9 o'clock and I'm at my first meeting, and some insurance guy or salesperson's talking to me. Like, if we as a salesperson can try and put ourselves in the mind of our client prior to that conversation, what could be going on in their day to day? How would I react if I had this cold call out of the blue, or someone introduced me? Like, if you start to think that way, you're going to crush it, because you really care. You're taking time. They're not just another number that you're calling, hoping to make a couple of bucks. You've taken the time to really put yourself in their shoes and better understand where they're at. And by doing so, they're going to feel this energy. Let's get woo woo, because it exists. They're going to know that you're in it for the good reason, and even if they don't consciously, you're going to tap into the subconscious mind and help that person make a great decision because of the presence that you bring to your conversation. That's deep, but it's important, and it shows you care, and it speaks to the conscious mind, which is a small percentage of the daily activity of what is going on, and then the subconscious, which is kind of control on the ship of decision making.
You're totally right, and I think that I catch myself doing it sometimes, being we'll call it like fact splainer, when I'm just constantly spewing information that I know and making it about me, as opposed to just listening to what they want. I've been there, done that. It's easy to get wrapped up in that.
Yeah.
Just because you know the product like the back of your hand doesn't mean you need to tell them every single detail. And I'm sure a lot of people are doing that, and maybe that is just maybe it's just a lack of confidence.
I think so, and I'll think, like, you'll meet people too, and you've been to these conferences where it's like, I've been in sales for 40 years and doing the same thing every 40 years, like not changing the approach. And so I think we all start out in sales as people who don't know sales. We don't understand our products. We don't understand buyer psychology or how to help people make decisions faster, which is important from making money perspective, which is why we're in sales. In addition to helping people, I should say. But so we go from this point where we're like, I'll help you, and we have a bunch of early success, and then you can get to this point where a bunch. Now you really know how the car works, the pen works, the computer, the product, and you're so excited to tell everyone about it, and you're going to lose them. Hey, XYZ, this is how you do that, and this is how we build that foundation, and we do ours way better than everyone else, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And your prospects shutting down. Like, they're not even there. The true masters know all of that and don't say it. They ask questions and help that client discover these features and benefits, perhaps, of your program that are better than what they're having elsewhere if you're moving suppliers or just introducing a concept to them. So, kind of you got to learn it, and then you got to be quiet, and you got to develop questions to help the prospect uncover what it is. If you're saying it, it's not true. If they're saying it, it is true. And that's super important. So the masters, that's how they operate.
It's
And
hard to
what's
do.
super cool, it's very
It's
hard.
hard to shut up. It's hard to just sit there and not talk.
I think I'm proving that point right now. No, I'm just kidding. But it's important. Like, so if you can do that, and just from a life perspective, you mentioned, you're 25. So like, oh my God, if you can grab hold of this and then take this skill into the rest of your life, it's incredible. The amount of comfort, the quality of conversations you can have with others outside of wearing your business hat changes. And your family and your friends will start to go like, man, it's different. There's a different energy being around you. Like, I love that. That's super cool. Yeah, it's a neat skill to develop. But really, sales, if you want to be good at it, will force you to understand how you think and how others think, and you can help them solve problems. Some that they can't even uncover themselves because they don't even know how they think, and you can help them do that. Pretty cool.
That is. I think that's a great spot to leave it at that. So thank you everyone for watching episode 31 or listening. We look forward to seeing you again on next Thursday. Talk to you then.
Thanks. Bye.